plaintiff, Bruce Johnson, dated the defendant, and he claims after their first child was born, the defendant started using painkillers recreationally. Bruce says although she cleaned up her act, she relapsed after their second son was born, and as a result, he got custody of their children. He's suing his ex for child support. Defendant Amanda Graves admits that her life was out of control and she was a full-blown drug addict. But she insists she's been clean for 2 years. Amanda claims since she got sober, she's been granted joint custody of her kids. And she claims Bruce is suing for more than she owes.
Start with you.
Around 2001, Amanda and I were introduced by some mutual friends of ours. And a short while after that, our relationship began. In 2004, we actually had our first son. And a couple years after that, I actually found out that a family member had introduced Amanda to painkillers, mainly Vicodin and oxycodone.
Just for recreational drug use?
Yes, sir. And in 2009, we actually had our second son. By that time, she had actually gotten some help and stopped using the medication. Unfortunately, after she gave birth, the doctors prescribed her Vicodin for some cramping, and she actually began using it again. And that's when things started going downhill. She wasn't performing as well as she had been at work, obviously. At home, she would tend to nod off, similar to how a heroin addict would act. She actually had gone to a weak treatment facility where they had put her on Suboxone, which actually blocks the receptors in the brain, so that even if she were to take
you wouldn't get high.
Painkiller, she wouldn't get high. Correct.
Did that work?
It worked for a while. I'd say a month or two, and then she began using again.
And that was when?
I believe it was 2009.
Obviously, this is why the children were removed. That's kind of what you're getting to?
Correct, sir.
And she owes child support because the children were removed from her. Let me hear from you, ma'am. Give me some background.
I absolutely take full responsibility for how I was. I was out of control. I've been in treatment, ever since. I've been clean for approximately 2 years now.
You've been clean for 2 years?
Yes. Yes. I was way out of control. I didn't realize it at the time. Nobody could tell me anything.
How did you originally get addicted?
Originally, I was prescribed it. I had a miscarriage. I didn't realize how addicting that medication was.
So how long did you have to take it for the medical purposes?
It was approximately a few weeks, but, I was very naive about the situation.
All right, so that's what I hear most times is folks coming here who've started out with some type of surgery, particularly back surgery. They get addicted to pain pills as a result of those surgeries, and then they go to the street after the doctor cuts them off. Now, these young kids are different. They start recreational, and then they become addicted, and then they move on to heroin. That's what we're seeing today in our society. Nonetheless, when were the children removed, and you haven't gotten them back in 2 years?
Yes, I have. I do have my joint custody back, and they weren't removed because of that. They were removed because he went to court behind my back. I knew nothing about it, and since I didn't show up to the original court date, they granted him custody.
All right, did you appeal that?
Yes, absolutely.
And what happened that time? Did you show up?
Yes.
And what did they say? What did they say the reason was?
They said I had to go to court counseling to investigate the situations.
Why? If the only reason they told you couldn't have him back the first time is because you didn't show up?
Because
if you'd have showed up the first time, what would have happened? Same thing?
I don't know. If I would have showed up, I would have
All right, the second time they told you to go to classes, did you go?
It was counseling, yes. I went to
everything.
Did you go? Yes,
and
absolutely.
It worked? You got your children back?
Yes, yep, absolutely. Yes, sir. You
just told me you have joint custody and he has them.
Well, I got my joint custody back.
Okay, that's all?
Yes.
Did you appeal to have them in your custody?
No, I didn't appeal that because they were in school. I didn't want to take them out of that situation. I've been having them every weekend. I've always been in their life.
Okay, and that's all you want?
I'd say they're in school, and if they were to move with me, they would have to change schools.
How far do you live from them?
I live about an hour away, approximately. I get them every weekend. Yes.
Okay.
I've always been there for my kids.
They don't want to move there to go to school?
That's untrue.
They don't want to move there to go to school?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Like my kids, my son is 9, my oldest one. I've asked him about that. He said he'd rather stay at the school he's at. And
okay.
I see
All right.
them, talk to them.
Understandable. Go ahead, sir. You want to tell me about the unpaid child support?
Yes, Your Honor. In November of 2010, I was granted sole custody and primary placement. She was correct that she did not know about the court case, but that's because of a
The
mailing.
issue is when she did show up.
Yes, Your
So
Honor.
they don't say you can't have your children ever again because you came late or because you had a flat tire. That's not how
Correct.
court goes.
Correct. So at that second court case, she fully admitted that she was addicted to painkillers, and nothing changed as far as the custody or placement. I still remain with sole custody and placement. We had a new court date after a family court investigation, and I agreed to joint custody, which is decision-making rights.
Good. What about the child support you're suing about?
Child support is still in place and has been in place since November of
She's in
2010.
arrearage, obviously?
And I will pay
Yes, Your
everything
Honor.
I
All
owe,
right.
but I don't
And how
owe it
long
all.
is the arrearage?
I don't have exact dates.
How much was the
current-
amount per month?
53 per week.
Per week?
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right. Let me hear from you, ma'am.
He's an alcoholic. He will not admit his problems. I will fully admit mine.
Did you tell the
He-
court that?
Yes.
You told the court that he was an alcoholic, and they said, well, his is not as bad as yours, so he can keep him.
No. Actually, to be honest, the court looked down on both of us because we both had our
I
problems.
know, but ma'am, if you told the court he was an alcoholic, they would have taken some action.
They did.
And what was that action?
He
to
was
give him
incarcerated.
custody?
He was incarcerated for approximately 6 months.
Ma'am, we're talking about custody of the children.
His mother his mother took care of the
Does
kids.
he still have custody?
Joint custody.
Okay,
yes.
well, he has custodial custody. They live with him,
His mother. They live with
but
him.
They
he
live with
has
me.
custodial custody by the court order.
I guess 50%.
You guess, so you
joint-
don't really know.
It's joint
Well, let me
custody.
inform
No,
you,
I don't.
if the court believed he was an alcoholic, they would not give him
Okay, why was he in jail?
I don't know, ma'am.
is he a felon
I
now?
don't know any of
He's
that.
got
What
a
I
fourth
do know
DUI.
is you haven't paid your child support, and whether he
and I
was in
was wrong
jail
for
or
that. I
not,
was
you
wrong
have
for that.
give me a defense for that.
I always paid,
What?
I've always
The way
paid
you're
my
talking to
child
me, you
support.
sound like you're getting high again. You're talking to me like a dope fiend, talking over me when I talk to you. Now, you listen and you be quiet, and then you
Yes.
answer after I'm finished
Yes, Your
talking. You
Honor.
got it?
I
All
do.
right. So why haven't you paid your child support?
I've been out of work approximately 4 months, and there were periods of time where I was, getting jobs, and I worked at Burger King for 6 months, and I also worked at the Carpenters Union for approximately 8 months.
So what happened when you were working that 8 months?
Well, I actually quit that job to
No,
get a
but you
different
worked there
job.
for 8 months.
I went to a different job. And
I understand.
it
The
didn't
8
work out.
months, how much did you pay in child support?
Every time I got paid, I
I've
paid
got
child
records.
support.
Okay, and what
That's
8
record.
months were those?
It was about October 2012 to
And how much have you paid since October 2012?
none. I'm enrolled in school now.
None?
No, I
None?
haven't. I've always been there for my kids. I've
Ma'am,
helped
let's
out.
answer my questions very straight. How much have you paid since October 2012, ma'am? What we're talking about when you were working for the
right.
Carpenters Union. Are you with me today?
Yes, the
That's
whole-
why I think you're still getting high.
No, the whole time I worked.
No,
at
no,
Carpenters
ma'am.
Union.
Since October of 2012, how much have you paid in child support? Very clear question.
I don't have the exact records with me. I don't.
Okay, so you don't know.
No,
Now,
I
do
don't.
you know?
Yes,
You
Your Honor.
have your
I do.
records. All
This
right.
is,
And what do your records say she paid during those 8 months?
All of
his
last-
record says you paid absolutely nothing.
Okay.
So you can't remember nothing? Nothing is easy.
Well, I know.
Nothing is easy.
Well, I know they-
Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day, ma'am. $3,468. Good day.
I was wrong for how I was in the past. I am a good mother. I know that.
You are.
And
I'm not denying that you're a good mother. Now let's just move past this, and
I would pay everything I would owe in child support. I would never abandon my children ever.